Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be shedding light on how to quickly obtain an employee job. So how do you obtain an employee job in an expeditious manner? Without further ado, without further delay, allow me to demystify that answer to that inquiry right here, right now. If you want to be able to expeditiously obtain an employee job, you need to be willing to upload your resume onto job search websites, as well as be willing to send your resume to staffing agencies. You want to be able to render your resume easily discoverable. You want to be able to render your resume transparent, and you want to be able to render your resume enticing. Make sure that you list all of your credentials. Do not neglect to list your core competencies nor your utmost best skill sets. You may have an extensive work history, and you should take heed of including that. You want to be able to render yourself a viable candidate for a job opportunity, and if you're listing all of your credentials and the totality of your work experience, as well as the entirety of your repertoire, is going to further entice a prospective employer to at least take heed of possibly furnishing you with an interview request. You want to be able to get past the gatekeepers of opportunities. And if your resume is not enticing, or they're deterred to interview you, then you're not going to be able to land a job. So if you want to be able to expeditiously obtain an employee job, make sure that your resume is not only eminently enticing and appealing to prospective employers and recruiters, but make sure that it is also listed on as many job search websites as viably possible, and that it is also sent to as many staffing agencies as viably possible. Hopefully, a recruiter can line you up with a job opportunity, or hopefully a prospective employer can easily discover your resume and at least furnish you with an interview opportunity. If you can successfully pass all of the interviews, then you can obtain an employee job. So, if you want to be able to expeditiously obtain an employee job, you're more than likely going to have to acquiesce to settling for working an employee job that is deemed to be an undesirable job. Lamentably, much of my dismay, much of my consternation, much of my chagrin, much of my agony, much of my grief, and much of my distress, most real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand are often deemed to be highly time-consuming, dead-end, dispiriting, agonizing, harrowing, distressful, ineffably debilitating, brutally wretched minimum wage jobs that do not pay anywhere close to even 1/4 of a subsistence wage for affording basic needs such as housing needs. So people typically work real private sector jobs based on voluntary demand out of sheer and utter desperation just so that they can have some money for food. But it can also provide you with a steady stream of income, even if the income is negligible and infinitesimal. You never want your income to be fettered, nor capped, nor tethered to your time, metaphorically speaking. You want your income to be limitless, uncapped, and unfettered. You want to have unlimited earnings potential. And you want to have recurring revenue streams on autopilot. It's incredibly inefficacious to have one revenue stream that is on manual pilot and that is tethered to your time. You do not want to borrow equity out of your life, time, dignity, happiness, house, and future wealth just for a pittance of a non-subsistence wage that cannot even allow you to attain your utmost lowest level basic needs that are relegated to Maslow's hierarchy of needs pyramid. You want to be able to thrive, prosper, and flourish, and actualize your latent potential, and reach your overarching goals, and reach your higher aspirations, and manifest an abundant, prosperous, auspicious, blissful future for yourself into reality. But in life, we have immediate bills to pay, and it is a luxury to embrace entrepreneurial pursuits full time. We live in a control market economy with no semblance of a safety net, nor universal basic income, even though there are over 13,000 evisceration fees imposed by bureaucratic apparatuses in which people work real private sector jobs based on volunteer demand, pay into, and do not receive anything back for paying into. So, even though these employee jobs just provide individuals with temporary, fleeting, ephemeral, perishable, short-term relief, it can at least provide you with some money to buy food products. Hopefully that provides you with some consolation. But it is just unfortunate that if you are to work a real private sector job based on volunteer demand full time, you're more than likely still not going to be able to attain your utmost lowest level basic needs that are relegated to Maslow's hierarchy of needs pyramid. The interests of the employee and the employer are diametrically opposed to one another. Almost all the profits are reserved for the shareholders, CEO, executives, and upper-level managers. The employee always wants to receive the absolute maximum amount of revenue for the absolute minimum amount of time worked, whereas the employer always wants to pay the employee the absolute least amount of revenue for the absolute maximum amount of time worked. Begrudgingly, out of sheer and utter desperation, employees acquiesce to working these dead-end, dispiriting, highly time-consuming, debilitating, agonizing, brutally wretched, egregiously abysmal, real private sector jobs based on volunteer demand that do not even pay them 1/4 of a subsistence wage. So, to recapitulate, in some succinctly stated, the bridge version is that if you want to be able to expeditiously obtain an employee job, simply upload your resume to as many job search websites as viably possible, send it to as many staffing agencies as viably possible, and also utilize quick apply options on job search websites. That way you could apply to the maximum amount of jobs in the minimum amount of time. Do not needlessly squander your time. Do not hemorrhage your time. Do not fritter away your time. Your time is sacrosanct, indispensable, precious, finite, and invaluable. Do not delude yourself into believing that your time is worthless. You want to be able to shrewdly, prudently, judiciously, wisely, and strategically allocate your time. Do not be desultory. In life, earmark your time wisely. It would behoove you to do so. It is incumbent that you efficaciously allocate your time and not allow it to needlessly be squandered on futile, nugatory, unavailing, fruitless, worthless pursuits. So I hope that you deemed this video to be insightful and captivating. If you can play the odds in your favor, then you can more than likely quickly obtain an employee job. So, if you are maximizing your reach, and if you're rendering your resume easily discoverable, and if your resume is enticing, and if you reached out to as many staffing agencies as viably possible, it's only a matter of time before a prospective employer stumbles upon your resume or a recruiter reaches out to you in order to ascertain if you're interested in being interviewed for a particular job. So once again, I hope that you found this video to be engrossing, captivating, mesmerizing, riveting, enthralling, and of course, informative. Have a blissful day. Goodbye.